we'll call the Comfort Lake Forest Lake Watershed District meeting to order. And first item is roll call.
All right, Manager Lowe,
Here.
Manager Schmaltz, Manager Baki,
I am here.
Manager Taves,
Here.
President Anderson.
Here. Okay, and I see we have at least one visitor, correct?
Yes, Matt Krylik, Snow Krylik Architects, and I believe Dan also just joined, Dan Veracruz.
Okay. All right, thank you. Well, with that, the next item is setting a meeting agenda. So are there any changes or corrections? Subtractions? Okay, hearing none, motion is in order to call or to accept the meeting as, the agenda as presented.
I move we accept the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
Thank you.
All right, Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
Manager Taves,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. Thank you. Motion approved. Let's move on to new business. Item A, Minnesota Water Resources Conferences Manager Registration. Well, there's no one here to really present this, but I will do my best. This item is for conference registration for the University of Minnesota Conference coming up in October. This is one that I've attended on several occasions and find it very helpful. And I did put in my request, whenever the first notice came out about 6-8 weeks ago. And I'm going to, take that, away. However, I'm not going to, ask for the registration. The fees are, the fees are $500 this year, if I'm not mistaken, $400 if it's early registration. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I think last year was 300, maybe 325. So given the budget situation, I'm going to not attend this year. But any other, manager, certainly can make, your own decision. And, I think what we're asking here is if anyone, any manager would like to attend, we're going to ask for a motion to approve that expenditure. Anything else
No, that's
that I missed?
good. That's
Okay, all right, very good. So again, like I said, I will not be attending this year, so if there's another manager that wants to go, I think that would be helpful for you. But is there anyone who would like to attend?
I'm not able to.
Okay, thank you.
Is it a 2-day event?
Yes. Mhm.
So go both days? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're asking me, so I'm not a manager, so
It happens after.
It
you
does
will be a
happen
manager.
after, right,
Yes,
so-
yes.
but-
It can be a little overwhelming, honestly.
Okay.
I didn't go the first year that I was, but I had a business and so I didn't have a lot of time for that extra stuff, but it is helpful. And it is interesting to see what kind of, activity the U is doing on helping with, keeping the waters of Minnesota clean. And, they do a lot of work with the, agencies that we also work with. Bowser, they do a lot of work with Bowser, and that's our main agency.
Sure.
So I do think that anyone who would like to go should go that hasn't attended before.
Sure.
But I don't need to go this year, and so,
I could make time.
Yeah.
And take vacation from work to
Mhm.
go if the group would think that it would benefit the group
yeah,
if somebody
my
attended.
personal opinion is that you need to be on the board at least a year.
Okay.
Before you go to something like this, because
Okay.
it's not gonna make a lot of sense without the background, discussions with
Okay,
the kind of projects we do and all of that, because that's what it's about.
sure.
But it is very helpful. Okay, so, do you want to make the motion here, or do we want to decide that we shouldn't fund this year because of the tight budget situation we have?
Manager Anderson,
Yes, Manager Baki, please.
I would agree with you that given our budget situation and the fact that we're $7,000 over on this line item, we should not approve any expenditures for this conference.
Okay, would you like to make that a motion?
I will make that a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I will second that.
Okay, discussion, any other discussion or comments? Okay, hearing none from the board, let's make the roll call.
All right, Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
Manager Taves,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. Okay, motion passes, thank you. All right, let's move on to B, 3B, watershed-based implementation funding agreement extension.
President Anderson, I can introduce
Yeah.
this one if you'd like.
Yes, please.
So President Anderson, managers, this is a pretty straightforward item, just looking for an extension of our agreement with the watershed-based implementation funding fiscal agent, Chisago SWCD, just doing this in advance. And then, in the future, if we're granted more WBIF allocations, which I'm sure we will, then we will add attachments to that contract so that the funds can be processed through the fiscal agent. And then the second page of the memo had a little bit more detail on just like the history of watershed-based implementation funding and just some data about that.
Emily, can you just spend a few minutes just explaining to the board again how this works? And that we can, we've got 2 times during the year that we can apply for project funding. Small projects or larger projects, and then as she mentioned, and as is in our memo, this is a proactive action that we're taking so that we're ready when that period comes. We're going to have a meeting in the metro area watersheds sometime late January or in February, early February. And that's where we make the decision whether or not to put in the money allocated to the metro watersheds in our lower St. Croix region, or keep it for our own use in the metro. So the lower St. Croix doesn't really know what their budget is going to be until we get through with that initial process. And most of the money comes from that allocation for the metro. All right, there we go. Now, if you can explain, Emily, that process for actually applying for those funds.
Yes, so as Jackie mentioned, even before it gets allocated into the work plan, for the watershed partnership, there's the convene meeting and the metro entities come together and they decide to pool the funds with the non-metro portion of the basin. And that's typically what they've done. And for the fiscal year 2025, they did set aside of that, metro portion, they set aside $75,000 for the Sunrise River WMO because they are no longer a partner. And so that was decided at the convene meeting and voted on, and that was set aside. And then the rest kind of goes through this other process. And so it goes into a grant work plan that the whole partnership shares. And then if you would like to, receive if a specific entity wants some of those funds, there's a form that you fill out. There's a whole deadline schedule. It goes through a review by the steering committee. And if it's greater than 50,000, your grant request, then it is reviewed by the steering committee and then the policy committee. And that policy committee is like board level people. Manager Anderson serves on the policy committee. So after that, if it's approved, then you execute that agreement with the fiscal agent. And so it would be that amendment that I talked about to the funding contract. And then the funds get passed through Chisago SWCD to us or the partner after the work is done.
Okay, and then one little footnote to this also is that the state created these more regional watersheds because they wanted to push the decision-making on grants down to closer to the area where the project is going to take place. And so they don't have that all congregating at the Bowser office. So this is happening. It's in transition, probably the third year in transition, and it will affect the pool of money that we've been primarily going for those competitive grants. Now, it may not go away all the way, but it's certainly going to be a lot less pool of money than what we've been experiencing. So just keep that in mind, that this is something that's happening on a statewide basis. It's not gonna go away, and we probably have maybe another couple of years, 2, 3 at the most, to access the competitive grant area. And we'll talk about that later in the meeting, but anyway, just so that you have the full picture. So is there a motion? Is somebody wants to make this motion? Or do
I
we
will
already
move.
have it?
I will move to authorize administrator on advice of council to enter into the agreement with the Chisago SWCD for watershed-based implementation funding.
Thank you, Manager Taves. Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Manager Baki. Roll call, please.
Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
Manager Taves,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the next item is under old business for a building architect discussion. So here again, I think you've read Mike's introduction. Unless you have something to add, Emily, I'll certainly defer to you.
Thank you, President Anderson. I have not really been involved in the building architect, discussions directly, but I did kind of weigh in regarding the budget. So if there's questions about the budget side of things, I could answer that. But I know that there's folks here present from the architect themselves as well.
Well, we agreed at the last meeting, this is how I remembered it anyway, that we were going to bring, we got the information at the last meeting. We've had time to, on our own, look into it and read it and understand it. And the cover memo here, of course, is giving several options. Again, this is because of the budget situation that we're in. The board needs to have a discussion about whether or not we want to do this year, or if we want to delay this until 2026. We do have several large grants. The most encouraging one for projects like this would be the Bush Foundation grant. And so this topic is open for discussion, and I'm going to allow us to have a discussion first before we make a motion, because there are options here, and I think it's more fair if the board actually spends a few minutes having that deeper discussion about timing and what to do with this big project that's going to, as you can see, be in the upper end of our project areas. So, and I'm not talking about this initial money, I mean, the whole project as a whole. The other thing that we haven't talked about in a while is this option to have the person that owns this building actually build a building to our design. And we would just lease it from that individual. So we wouldn't own the building, we would get our design, as I mentioned. But we would sign a long-term contract, 20 years, with the building owner. And they're willing to help with the front end, finding the right location, and all of that, whatever we need help with. Or the other option is, as we just talked about with the other, conference, is that we may want to just delay this until 2026, until we know if we've gotten, what grants we've received. This floor is open for discussion.
President Anderson?
Manager Baki?
Yes, I am eager to develop a building design for office space, as I'm sure everyone is. However, if I understand Mike's description of our options here, we had budgeted 35,000 for professional services, and we've overspent that budget considerably. And so, given that deficit, I'm one who would favor a delay and wait till 2026 to determine if we get the Bush grant or how things might change. I got a feeling that things might change over the next few months as we approach 2026, and will give us a better picture of where we are and can make better decisions regarding a building design. I too support the idea of having our current landlord provide us with an office space using our specifications. I think that would be very desirable, but I think we need to delay this budget decision until 2026 and go from there. Thank you for having this discussion first. I appreciate that.
Madam President,
Yes.
may I add that we have also invited the architects from Snow Krylik here to the meeting today. And so if there are questions about their proposal and the services that they may offer and how those services may fit in with potentially redeveloping a building through this owner, I would like to introduce them or.
Yes,
if you'd like to engage with
absolutely.
them.
Yeah, that's why we wanted them here. So that there's no surprises. You're not left with telling them, if we make a decision not to do this year at this time, that they can hear it for themselves and ask us questions too.
So now all the board managers have received the proposal from Snow Krylik, who was unanimously recommended by the staff who interviewed the architect proposals. And we have Dan Vercruz and Matt Krylik here from Snow Krylik Architects. And I would welcome them to give a little greeting, if you like, and open it up to questions.
Sure. I'll keep it really brief. Obviously we're really excited about being able to work with you, if that's now, if that's in the future, if that's a new building, a renovation, or I think this idea that we heard actually when we were interviewing with the staff about the potential of your existing space getting redeveloped per your specifications. I think we're just here to support your vision and to bring it to life as architects. So obviously, just hearing this conversation, you guys have a really important decision to make that is really outside of our control. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have of the proposal, but just know that we're excited to support you in any way necessary. And I will just say one thing too. It's as you're moving forward with this, we put a proposal together that was very specific to an RFP. If there are sort of baby steps along the way and you're looking to kind of engage with us on an hourly basis and you need some support, we're happy to modify and adjust accordingly to best support you.
Yes, well, thank you for that. I just wanted to clarify one statement that you made. It's not redoing this building. This building, we're not going to bother with because there's other tenants here. So it's not the space that we need, or the location. There's not enough parking space, for example, for all of that. But what this other idea is that the building owner owns many buildings. And so their business manager would help us find the right location, whether it's an open space and it's a new building, or if it's rehabbing something that already exists. But it has to have at least the footprint to handle all the activities that we want to have in that building. So it's not this space. It definitely
Sure,
will not
no.
be this. Okay.
Yeah, no, that
All right.
makes sense. Thank you.
You bet. Dan, would you like to add anything?
I would. First of all, I'd like to say hello to everybody. I am really hopeful that we get a chance to work on this. I really think that the work that you guys do is important, and I think I've learned a lot about watershed stuff through actually working with Britt in the past, and in the Capital Region Watershed Project as the project lead for that. I just really enjoyed that process. I think, like I said, the work that you guys do is great, and we'd love to participate, in this project any way we can, like Matt said.
Good. Well, thank you very much. And I appreciate you being here so that you can have this conversation with us, but also hear why we are going to make whatever decision we make tonight. Okay, let's go back to the managers. Thank you, Manager Baki, for starting off. I'd like to hear from Manager Taves.
Yeah, well, I've been one of the voices that says, let's get this going already. But here we are in a budget crunch, and we're almost to starting the fourth quarter. My question has to do with what would be the effective difference between going into it now and running a deficit now, or waiting until early in the next year when things are a little bit more clear cut? Is there a functional difference that we need to take into account here?
That would be for the architects, or Brett, if you wanted to, but.
Well, or I could speak to the budgetary element if you'd like, President Anderson.
Sure.
Because I don't think that their proposal would necessarily change. They would just begin at a later time. But on our end, in terms of our budget, the only thing that would really change is if we are able to get this other grant, this big grant that we're working on. There's not a lot of grants out there that would directly pay for architect work like this or subsequent capital expenditures, but it would offset local spending so that we could free up some of the levy dollars to pay for stuff like this.
Okay. Well, we don't know about the Bush Foundation grant, though. I read that grant prospectus, that Mike sent out or you sent out to us. And it's pretty broad, and some of the things that we're thinking about doing with this building, as far as public education on water issues, that's I think fitting right into what the Bush Foundation parameters are, and they're wide. I mean, there's just no set thing that says you have to do this, it has to be, in this particular area. They're looking for innovation, and that's really the trigger for them. And there certainly would be a lot of innovation, I think, especially if we follow the lead and have the architects that did that phenomenal Capital Region building. That's just amazing with everything that they built into it. You're learning every time you walk through that building or around the building. So I think that might have a good fit. I'm pretty hopeful about that.
I think this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for the watershed, and I want to make sure we get it right. But at the same time, I want to be careful we don't cripple ourselves and make it harder to accomplish what we want to get done.
Right. Well, and I'm not talking about starting it now. I think that we want to wait until we get that money, that grant resolved, or find some other way to do it. I mean, I've talked about one way that seems to be pretty promising, and we need to make sure that when we're ready to do it, that we spend more time talking about that process. So, yeah, so I think we've got some good things happening. It's just timing. And that's what I'm hearing so far from the two managers that have talked about this. Chris, do you want to say something about it as well? I know your time is short with us, maybe another week or so, but would like to hear your opinion too.
Sure, thanks, Manager Anderson. I think when I became a board manager, we were talking about this, which kind of puts this whole thing into context for me. And I think the wise thing at this point would be to wait until that grant information is fully understood and known. in addition to the consideration of the budget situation. I think those two pieces make it the wise decision to just delay this, a few months, which is a really, really small time frame in the context of how long this process has been going on. So
Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Well, board, I think we understand which direction we want to go. It's pretty clear. So would anyone like to make that motion, or would you like me to paraphrase these and someone can second? Up to you.
I'd say feel free to put one out there.
All right, go ahead.
No, you.
Oh, me, okay. Yeah. And Chuck, you can edit as you please when I'm done. I am going to make a motion to table this item until a future time when we have information about the grant money that we're seeking or other funding that might be available for this. That's it. Chuck.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
that's a fine motion. It's technically it's not a motion to table. It's just a motion not to take action until that later time.
All right, well, rephrase it the way he just said it, and that's the motion. Is there a second?
I will second that.
We'll let
Who
Doug
said
get that one.
Was that Doug?
Doug.
Okay, thank you,
Co-second
Manager
it.
Taves. Okay, there's a motion and a second. Would you do the roll call,
All
please?
right, Manager Lowe,
I
Manager Baki,
Aye.
Manager Taves,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. Thank you, board. This has been tabled. We'll keep you posted. Thank you for your patience. We're looking forward to working with the architect firm. Yeah, they seem to be solid and they've done good work, what we know about. So yeah, we're looking forward to that.
Absolutely, and EOR will continue to stay in touch with them and with you all to understand when the grant
Right.
funds become available, and I imagine they will have to rescope their proposal at that time, but we'll cross that bridge.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll just wait to hear from you.
Yes. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Matthew. We
Thanks for
appreciate you
joining.
Thank you.
being here.
Take care.
You bet.
Thanks for joining us.
Next item under old business is the 2026 budget and accomplishments outreach.
President Anderson, managers, I can give an intro to this one as well. So just a quick recap. We've been going through the budget process this summer, and then in early August, Adam and I worked on trying to proactively create sort of an outreach plan. And so we had a timetable of steps and a draft outreach plan that we distributed as part of the August 11th budget workshop, and then made some tweaks to that after the workshop, and then posted in the August 14th regular meeting packet. And so then the board discussed on August 28th, and I sent out the packet of, the latest, most up-to-date outreach plan and the budget materials themselves for managers to review on Friday, August 29th. We hope to kind of get consensus on the budget outreach approach. We're sort of just holding off until the board, gives direction on how much or little outreach you would like to do. And then ultimately we are looking at having, well, not ultimately, but the public hearing is set for September 25th. And that would be the day that the board would adopt the budget as well. And I'll just note regarding September 25th, Tori and I met with President Anderson earlier this week, and we went through kind of the Zoom security protocols and everything. And so we will kind of be set and ready to go for that public hearing. For that Zoom meeting, any managers and anyone else who is attending that meeting must register in advance. So I'll email out that link to the managers, but it's on the website and you can register anytime. You just have to register to get the link. And then, after budget adoption on September 25th, we'll want to get that resolution signed as soon as possible. And then we will turn around the levy certification by September 30th. So that's just a recap of kind of time frame and process, and looking for direction from the board on the outreach.
There's one clarification that we need to make, though. The meeting on the 25th will be a board meeting. So we don't have to have the board members register. We'll just keep track of.
It's a Zoom thing.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Zoom. won't
Even
let
for
you
the
in.
board members?
Yeah, Zoom won't let you in without registering.
Oh, because you have to have a different platform than a normal meeting, is that it?
It's a little bit different, and so you have to jump through some hoops to unfortunately be a part of the meeting.
Okay, so I guess, stand corrected. So board members, like she said, we're going to have to register, as we enter
No, register in advance.
in advance, okay?
If
How much,
possible.
how much in advance?
You can do it tonight if you want to. It'll send an email link to you afterwards with the link for the actual day of the event.
Mhm.
So you can find that on the website already, and that's ready to go. Or you can do it like 5 minutes before the meeting, but then you have to be really checking your email and make sure you can get it before the meeting starts.
Okay, all right.
So I'd recommend doing it in advance.
Okay. All right, very good. So we will be entering the same way the public will, but it still will be conducted like a meeting. There'll be a little intro for the meeting, and then we'll turn it over to the public discussion. Just like we did those, probably not too many of you were here when we did the Agua discussion, when we were looking at purchasing the Agua building and property. But that worked very well. The outline that we worked or reviewed was provided by our attorney, Mr. Holtman, and it was pretty similar to what took place, except for this, back in whatever year that was. I don't even remember anymore, but that went very smoothly. And so I'm expecting this one to go smoothly as well. And if there's any questions that any of you have about that, we can talk about it now, or we can, you can give me a call and I can walk you through how it worked before. But that's pretty much it. So the 25th, what time starting? Is it 6:30 again?
It'll be like a normal meeting, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
normal meeting at 6:30. Just sign up in advance. As far in advance, what is it? It's available now on the website, so you can even do it when you get home tonight.
I'll email
President
out the
Anderson?
registration link.
I'm sorry, what did you say, Emily?
I'll email out the registration link.
Okay, all right, good. And I think that was Manager Baki.
Yes, I just wanted to comment. I do plan to attend this meeting in person, given the concerns that people may be airing. I to show solidarity with the board, and I
Okay.
would encourage other board members to attend in person if they can. I think of us all sitting together would be a good thing.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Okay.
I agree.
All right. I agree. All right, thank you. Is there anything else we need to do with this? I think you were looking for some comments maybe by the board members, or some time frame when you can still submit your comments to Emily on the outreach documents.
And just a general direction on the outreach itself. We've developed these materials, and if there is consensus on, the outreach plan and, giving Adam the go ahead to use the materials, be making Facebook posts and and whatever else, you know, just the degree of outreach. I think I want to make sure that the board is all on the same page with, you know, how these materials are being used and the scope of the outreach effort.
I found the materials very helpful. For the way the ideas were formulated, for me, really was helpful to put that all together. Gives us good talking points when we have to meet with people.
Manager Baki? Any
Yes,
comments?
I agree with Manager Taves. I think it's very well presented. I certainly stand behind what's there and it'll be very helpful for all of us to use as talking points. So yeah, well done. Thank you.
Okay, Manager Lowe?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Manager Taves and Manager Baki have said already.
Okay. Well, I made my comments at the last meeting. I don't think I need to repeat them, but I do think that it's too much. I don't think that people care about that much detail on how wonderful we are and projects that we've done. I think they're just much more concerned about that impact. And so I think if we keep it short and sweet, just like we have in the past, and that would work just fine and not overwhelm them. We're going to have very similar things that we're going to be talking about at the State of the Watershed meeting on the 30th. So anything that's more particular to the budget situation that we're in, I think is better. And keeping that, you know, very, very brief and as much graphics as you can produce so that there's not a lot of text. So those are my final comments. All right, so thank you. I don't think there's anything else. I think you've got, you know, what the board's comments are, and if you need to reach out to any of us to clarify, that's fine. But otherwise, the majority is happy with what you've produced. So I think you can move forward with that. Is that fine, Emily? Do you need more?
Nope, that sounds good. I think, you know, we will give Adam, he can post, you know, the accomplishments document on the website and on social media. He can use that accomplishments document for other kind of events, that Moody Lake pontoon tour or whatever else. Yeah, if there's consensus on that, we'll kind of go forth and but still doing a normal amount of budget outreach. You know, not too budget forward, but still, you know, explaining the district's accomplishments, all of the good work that it has done, and pushing that accomplishment summary toward the front.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Let's move on. 7:15 was my guess on how long this meeting would take, but we'll see.
That bad. Don't put that bad.
It seemed like a short agenda. Okay, next item is program and project update. So I suppose that's you, right?
Believe it's Blaine.
Oh, it's Blaine on?
President Anderson, I can take this one. Blaine's not here, but the project update is, I think it's pretty quick. Projects that we've been talking about. So the Heath Avenue Iron Enhanced Sand Filter over by Little Comfort Lake, that is in the design phase. The design is under review by the city of Wyoming. You know, still kind of proceeding with that project and hoping that we can construct it sometime next year. We are already a month out, less than a month out from the Forest Lake Allen Treatment Phase 2. That'll be a big kind of milestone achieving that project. That'll be, I think, the first or second week of October, and we are, you know, ready to go. Anne, did you want to add anything on the alum treatment while we're on the topic?
No, it'll be the 5th through the 8th is the plan, and then I will be giving a presentation to the public on the 2nd about that, an evening at the senior center. And we the applicator has been in contact with me about ordering the quantities, so I think we're all good to go.
Very good, thank you.
Those are the two big ones, but if there's questions on other projects or if managers want to spend more time, we certainly can.
I just had a question for you. At the last meeting, we talked about the, research that was done for the folks that, live along the channel in Bixby Park. And Blaine was going to put some talking points together and, we were going to present that to those folks along that channel. I think there's maybe 10 homes, something like that. So have we done any work on that?
We've met and we've been kind of planning it and gathering a little bit even more information. I think we're close to setting a date. It'll be probably before the State of the Watershed, but we'll send that out over email. I'll confirm with Blaine and Adam and Mike Kinney, and we'll send that invite to the board.
Okay, good, thank you. Because I do encourage board members to go to something like this. We've done these sort of more targeted neighborhood kinds of things in the past, and it's really helpful. But I was at that particular meeting when we were doing that outreach with the public on our new initiative on stormwater, and so I'd like to be present for that as well, for that presentation. Okay. All right, so thank you, Emily. The next item is project update or program update, excuse me.
President Anderson, managers, I pre-recorded the presentation for this one. And so that's up on the board packet webpage, the YouTube video. I would just ask if there's any questions or if anybody wanted more detail on any of what was presented, or I can give highlights, a brief summary if anyone would like as well.
I think that's always a good idea. So for people that don't get onto YouTube, just to have that brief overview of the programs. Don't have to extend it unless you want to, but let's do that as part of the meeting.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you.
One moment, I will pull up the slides. And I actually think I could do it without the slides if
it's up to you.
People, yeah, I think just really brief highlights. Grants are, of course, one of the three big sources of revenue that the district uses to do our work. We have the tax levy, which is, steady every year. The board sets that amount. Over the last few years, the district has been using low interest and no interest clean water partnership loans. We've taken out $4.5 million from those loans, and we have a schedule of repayments over the next 7 to 10 years. 9 years at this point. And so, with those repayments, that's what we've been talking a lot about in the budget process. And so it's been more important than ever. Grants have really come into focus in the past. The grants have been relatively smaller numbers compared to what they've been now. I gave one example, it's kind of just the scale that the projects have reached. That Heath Iron Enhanced Sand Filter project, we got a Clean Water Fund competitive grant for that of about just under 1.5 million. And that was our entire budget in 2015, 2016. So just that one project, that one grant was the size of the district's entire budget, 10 years ago. And so we've been doing bigger and bigger projects. And the scale of those projects is actually probably going to increase. We're reaching the end of the road in terms of achieving the water quality benefits that we want for our lakes. We delisted Bone Lake last year. Comfort Lake is slated to be delisted next year. And a few other lakes are going to be following. And so there will still be room for water quality improvement projects and, going to the Clean Water Fund competitive grants. Or kind of the other side of that is the watershed-based implementation funding. But really the big thing that's coming into focus is that we are getting into these, big flood resiliency, green belt and open space, kind of big restoration and acquisition type projects. So we've been submitting bigger and bigger grant applications. And so for 2016, if we are awarded our Lessard Sams grants, that was almost 5 million between those two. We'll likely maybe get a portion of those, but just kind of talking about the scale of the grant seeking and how it's increased over time. And we've tried to sort of diversify our grant seeking portfolio, always looking for new programs like this Bush Foundation. I gave kind of a summary of the various projects and initiatives for which we do have grants secured, and that's been built into the 2026 budget. But we're still seeking more, and we've got a timetable for that and kind of a plan. And while some of the RFPs aren't out yet, we are in close contact with agency staff, and so we have an idea of when these funding opportunities are going to open up. And so we are planning ahead and making sure that we're applying and submitting the best applications possible for those.
Okay, thank you for that
that.
update. Yeah, thank you for that update. Any questions? Okay, just one comment from me, and that is that it ties into what we did earlier with proceeding with the application process for the Lower St. Croix. We are going to try to work with that pool of money a little bit more as the years go by here. And I have to tell you that when I read the document, the WBIF funding document that explained this grant, there are some good things in that for us. They do fund activities, for example, in AIS treatments, and we still have work to do in the Comfort Lake areas, little and big, for carp. And so that's funded the work that we've been doing differently from other districts, apparently, doing all of that targeted engineering so that we can get the absolutely best projects and the most and highest pollutant sources taken care of early on. That's our Pareto rule or 80-20 rule that we've been dealing with. Diagnostic sequential monitoring is part of it, what EOR brought to the table. So those are all good things, and this is a new source for us, and the trick will be getting our projects in the queue with all of the 16 partners that are looking for money. So we'll see how that goes, but that's a very exciting change for us. The upfront dollars we've always had to fund ourselves, and it's now becoming at least incorporated into how the Lower St. Croix partnership works. So that was very encouraging. Okay, thank you, Emily. Let's move on. Next item is a report of officers and managers. I'll just go around the bend here. Manager Loth.
I have nothing to report. This is my last meeting as a manager, and I just wanted to thank Watershed staff and fellow board managers for allowing me this opportunity. It's been very interesting, and I've enjoyed learning from all of you, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for volunteering basically to be on the board. And we appreciate your input. You've been a good member. Appreciate that. Okay, next, Manager Baki.
Yes, I've had the opportunity to talk with 3 of the CAC members, Citizens Advisory Council members, individually, Ted Hansen, Tom Furry, and Randy Schumacher. And I just want to thank the CAC for their concerns and sharing their expertise as we go through this budget process. And I know the other managers have heard from them as well. But I do appreciate them as a sounding board, and they've been very good with that. I also want to thank Manager Chris Loth for his service with us. It's been a pleasure to work with him, and I appreciate his thoughtfulness and leadership. And I want to welcome Manager Jim Schottmiller to the board, and wish you well as we work together on our many challenges ahead of us.
No getting out of it now. You've got the computer, yeah. Okay, Manager Taves.
Yeah, I too want to say thanks to Chris for his service. Really appreciate it. It's good to get to know you a little bit. Good luck raising that little baby. Be fun to see. Monday night I went up to the Chisago City meeting where they kind of got the overview of the Highway 8 expansion. Well, it's it's quite a long-term project. But I was able to get a question asking about whether or not considerations were being put into place for essentially doubling the impervious surface and the amount of runoff that's going to come from that, and how that highways are notorious for their pollutions, not just motor oil, but also the chloride that comes off from the ice treatment processes. And the folks from MnDOT assured me that that's part of the very early environmental study, impact study of these projects. So it is being taken into account. They will be doing special water treatments along the way as becomes necessary. So that made me feel good to see that part of the process in place.
Yeah. Did they happen to talk about noise abatement?
The question was raised, but they really didn't come to that issue. It might be a little bit early yet.
Okay, all right, very good, thank you.
President Anderson?
Yes.
I had a comment.
Absolutely.
Staff met with, the MnDOT, consultants about Highway 8, Friday, September 5th. My district administrator, Kenny, also brought up the salting question. Their current practices are aimed at reducing that amount. But we also talked with having the MnDOT folks come to one of our board meetings in the future.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's very good. Thank you for doing that, because it's going to be important. I know the only thing I heard that they were doing differently was allowing some pathways for animals that migrate between Little and Big Comfort. So I don't know if that's been taken off the list, but that was probably a year or so ago that they had talked about doing that kind of thing. Have you heard?
We received plans, but I do not remember looking at that in particular. I do know they were meeting with the DNR in the future to discuss public water impacts.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you for that. I don't have anything in particular to talk about. So we can move on. The next is summary and approval of board direction.
Madam Chair, managers, the only item I have is that staff will continue to prepare its materials for the Bixby property owners, and will invite the managers to the meeting with those people that is set up.
Wonderful. Thank you. The next is a motion to adjourn. Our meeting agenda has been addressed. Who would like to do that?
I will make the motion to adjourn the meeting.
Thank you. I'll second that. No, you know what? This is gonna be Chris's last motion, so he gets it. Go ahead, Manager Lowe.
I second that.
Okay, all right.
Manager Lowe,
Aye.
Manager Baki,
Aye.
Manager Taves,
Aye.
President Anderson.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.